Reagan exited the Royals' 3-1 loss to the Guardians on Wednesday with left triceps and elbow soreness. He'll undergo further testing and evaluation to determine the severity and next steps. And for all the latest sports news and updates, keep it tuned right here at 94.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome in to Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arens on the ones and twos. Lineups changing a little bit over the course of summer. We'll still have some of these student-athlete shows, just a little bit of flux, while some students taking a much-needed break or wrapping up with finals or, just going and seeing family. Long season for those student-athletes. So we'll fill in the meantime, and it'll actually be a combination of 3 hours while some of our student-athletes get a break. So it'll be me. We'll have a good replay in there, and then later I'll have Nick Wyman join me for another hour. Then we'll be right back on track for the late night listeners. We'll still have Chris Raff, good take on sports, and of course, DeMarne Piersonell with the Dome Punt Hour, and then wrapping things off from 11 to midnight with late night in Lincoln with Nick Wyman. You guys are welcome to join in 402-464-5685. I'm going to talk some NBA playoffs. We'll dive into Husker football. I talked about this yesterday with some of the guys, in particular Chris Raff, about what are the expectations for Husker football when you look at the schedule. You're hearing a lot that the schedule is really tough, and as a result, people are just kind of out before the season starts. And I'm not going to tell you guys how to feel. I said it yesterday. I'll say it again today. I think that's dangerous territory to tell a fan how he should feel about his or her team. I'm never going to be in the space to do that, but I'll at least give you my thoughts on not what's going to happen, but why I think it's a season to not just give up on, but have expectations. And it's okay to have some voice with those expectations and look at what's possible for this team as opposed to just looking at how can this go wrong, because it always goes wrong. Now, if you want to be pessimistic about it, I'm not going to tell you you're not allowed to do so. You can be as pessimistic or optimistic as you want to when talking Husker football. And I can understand why some people have, like I said, slid into maybe a more pessimistic view because of the result of the last 3 games from the regular season. But before we get into any of that, let's talk some NBA playoffs. We still got 2 more games tonight. One tipped off already. You got the Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Detroit Pistons. And currently, like I said, things just got rolling off. It's 5-5, 10 minutes, 30 seconds left in the first quarter. Currently, Detroit leads the series 1-0. And then later tonight, 8:30 p.m. on Prime Video. For all those who want to watch it, make sure you have Prime Video. You can watch Lakers Thunder. They're going to tip off 8:30, like I said, and OKC leads that one 1-0. From yesterday's games, maybe not a ton of surprises with the Timberwolves Spurs, but we'll get into the 76ers Knicks games first. Knicks come out, they pull that one a little bit closer of a game, 108-102. After game 1, they really stomped on the 76ers and shot just unreal numbers, 60% from the floor, and I think it was about 50% from 3. So you can imagine how the Knicks in that first game were able to score 130 plus points. But in this last one, really just good collective effort from everybody on the New York Knicks. And Anunoby deserves a lot of credit. He's been one of their better scorers and consistently at it as well. In this game, he was 9 for 17, 24 points. Jalen Brunson kept being Brunson. He was your leading scorer, although on worse efficiency. Still a good night, though. In 41 minutes, Jalen Brunson had 26 points. He was 9 of 21 from field goal range, 1 of 5 from 3, and 7 of 8 from the free throw line. But if you look at the plus minus, get into your advanced analytics will tell you that OG Anunoby was your most productive player on the floor. On top of his 24 points, he had 4 steals to go along with it as well, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, and I don't think he had any turnovers and 0 turnovers on the day. And then you also got 20 from Karl Anthony Towns. You got another 18 from Mikal Bridges. You go to the bench, you got 2, 6, 3, 4, all on pretty decent shooting. And then you go to the 76ers. Paul George played okay. He was 7 for 18, 5 of 13 from 3. You had Kelly Oubre Jr. He gave you 19, 6 of 12. Tyrese Maxey, not a great game from him. He was 9 of 23. VJ Edgecombe, he goes 6 for 13. And then they only played 3 players off the bench for a whopping total of 15 points. And when you compare that to the New York Knicks, who played 6 players off their bench, you see the legs get in there a little bit more. And that might be the factor for the Knicks, is they're just a deeper roster where if Jalen Brunson doesn't have the most efficient night, like which he didn't yesterday, 26 points on 9 of 21, like it's a decent day. You're not going to tilt your nose up to it. But you have guys like OG Anunoby who can be that second fiddle and have a really good performance. And you have guys like Karl Anthony Towns. And then off the bench, if you need it, Miles McBride. He played 21 minutes. He didn't do a lot. He shot the ball 5 times. He took 4 threes, had an assist, a rebound, but give yourself a break. Jose Alvarado, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, 8 minutes. Jordan Clarkson actually had 8 minutes in that game as well. He had 6 points, good efficiency, 2 for 4. They just have enough guys to where it feels like if they need to go rely on depth a little bit, they're more suited to do so. And that felt a lot more with game number 2. Was the Knicks won just because they felt like they had the deeper roster. In game 1, the Knicks won because they were just a much better shooting team for the night. This was a better, I think, true test about who's going to come out on the series. And you saw the New York Knicks do it, which I think with their depth. And when you look at the 76ers, like I said, if you don't have Tyrese Maxey having a great night, you're going to demand a lot more out of a guy like Paul George. And if Paul George goes 7 for 18, it's good. It's not enough. That 19 points, you're going to need a bigger performance than that. And then you're looking at the bench. There's just not guys that you would probably expect to pull huge performances for you, where they can maybe give you 20 points to save you if one of your stars are having a bad night. I think that's probably why the Knicks won that one, and I think it's why they'll be a pretty easy favorite to continue to win out the series, as they now lead at 2-0 after that win. The game that I know probably had more eyes on it as far as your overall fan base, the Timberwolves and Spurs yesterday. Bad game for the Minnesota Timberwolves and great game for the Spurs. Timberwolves stole that first game on the road, which felt like Victor Wembanyama just had an awful night. His offense was limited. He did good on defense like he does every night, but you were seeing a lot of things that just felt like the Spurs came out flat. It wasn't a question of talent, maybe not even want to. It just looked flat, like they didn't have the energy. Meanwhile, you had the Timberwolves who were heating up, already got through a tough series with the Nuggets. And even towards the end of the regular season, we're playing some really good basketball. The Spurs, they've been kind of waiting. They put together a great record, 62-20, to be sitting in that playoffs as the number 2 seed, to feel a little bit more relaxed. And not to say that's what they were. They didn't have the want to, but you certainly saw that Minnesota Timberwolves team in that first game just feel like they were moving faster than San Antonio. You come to game 2 and it felt like the Spurs kind of got the rhythm back, where this was a much more aggressive Spurs team. You saw them attacking the paint. Points in the paint seemed to be a bigger focus for them, using their size advantages against the Timberwolves and not being afraid of a guy like Rudy Gobert. And I think that was a lot of magic. They still had Anthony Edwards come off the bench, the Minnesota Timberwolves did in this case, and not nearly as efficient. 24 minutes, he was 12 points, 5 of 13. He was 1 of 5 from 3. And I think he got to a point where games started to get away a little bit, like just take him out. Why have him in there? The Timberwolves, you can imagine, emptied out their bench as the score got bigger and bigger. Having a 47-point deficit is you're going to empty out the bench. And likewise with the San Antonio Spurs. But you saw a different version of Victor Wembanyama in this game. He had 19 points, 7 of 15 from the floor. And on top of that, 15 rebounds, 2 assists. Actually only had 2 blocks in this last game, which compared to the first game, I think he had like 12. You had De'Aaron Fox efficient. He was just a 5 for 10, a quiet 16 points. Devin Vassell, he has 3 of 9. Stephon Castle, 6 of 10. In Champagne, he was 4 of 6. So your starting 5 just gave you a really smooth, clean shooting performance. from beyond the arc and from inside the paint. And then you go to the bench. Harrison Barnes gave you 12, probably the most noticeable bench performer with 15 minutes. Dylan Harper, he did play for 22 minutes as well. He's been good in his moments. He was 5 of 10, shooting 500 on the night. But you look at that, the Spurs shot 50% from the floor, 41% from the three. And you flip that to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 40% from the floor, 30% from three. Not hard to figure out why maybe the Spurs came on top. And then you add on to that, the Spurs were just much better taking care of the ball. They only had 15 turnovers to the Timberwolves 22. And if you're the Timberwolves, this is a team you just can't afford to give the ball away to. Victor Wembanyama is going to have some plays where he just erases you defensively, and you got to really value those possessions. And it was one of those games where it never felt truly close. And unfortunately for the Timberwolves, it felt more realistic as to what maybe game one should have looked like. Now, I'm not calling for a 47-point deficit every time, but I am calling for a Spurs team that I just think on paper outclasses the Timberwolves. You know, Rudy Gobert is a great player. There's not, I think, a whole lot he can do versus a guy like Victor Wembanyama. And then you look at a guy like De'Aaron Fox, who he's looked really good in that win versus the Timberwolves. He thought he stepped up in key moments. He wasn't scared of the moment. And that whole team is starting to click really well and learn how to play around a guy like Victor Wembanyama. So the more I watch the Spurs team, the more I wonder if this is a team that can take the Thunder out of the mix. It's not over for the Timberwolves. Don't get me wrong. And maybe if Anthony Edwards, he gets, feels fully 100%, you can get those Edwards performances where he's playing 35 plus minutes a game and he just takes over. If his health gets to 100%, maybe that's in the cards somewhere. But if they got to play with Edwards, and even if he can give you 25, 30 minutes, if he's playing at like 70%, great player. I don't know if that's enough to take down the San Antonio Spurs right now. They're just on a mission. You know what they are defensively. For them to come out and have an efficient night shooting as they did and keeping turnovers down at the same time, playing high level defense to force turnovers on the other end, that's a nightmare. So the San Antonio Spurs, watch out. I just think they might be closer to being a finals team than we anticipate. And that happens a lot. You talk about great players or great teams, it usually happens sooner than you think. And I think that was certainly the case with the Warriors, where you're like, wow, this guy Steph Curry's really great. And then you blink your eyes and all of a sudden that's one of the best dynasties we've seen in basketball, at least in my lifetime. You can go back in time. You can talk Bulls, you can talk Celtics. I'm not going to disagree with you. But in my lifetime, being at 27 years old, like that, the Warriors dynasty was that dynasty. And a little bit of the Spurs when I was really young watching those guys. But that stuff happens quicker than you think. And when I watch the Spurs team, and then you watch the maturity of a guy like Victor Wembanyama, and you got a bunch of young players that all seem bought in, and De'Aaron Fox found like he's finally found a home after, being with the Kings and felt like that was going to be his spot, and his good riddance that he was able to get out of that place because he's found a lot of success down there in San Antonio. And I think his game along with Victor Wembanyama it's going to be a tough one to stop. Let's see. We got Mr. Worldwide down there in Fallbrook. He says, game one and the Minnesota defense was killing the Spurs. Spurs adjusted to the aggressive defense and they doubled to get a win in game two. Yeah, and I mean, I think that was the biggest part for me. Is like you just saw a Spurs team that was a lot more aggressive. That I know it's cliche to say, but in game one, they just looked flat. They looked flat on their feet. They weren't as aggressive defensively. Offensively, it felt like they were settling for a lot more jumpers despite having some good matchups inside that they could take advantage of. If the San Antonio Spurs keep playing the way they're doing, it kills me because I do like rooting for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm an Anthony Edwards fan, despite being a Jokic fan at the same time. I don't know if there's enough in the tank for Edwards alone to tear down the San Antonio Spurs, especially if he's not going to be 100%. He's going to need some major performances from a guy like Rudy Gobert. Can Rudy Gobert do similar things to what he did to Jokic, where, listen, in game one, you could make the argument Gobert outclassed Victor Wembanyama with good defense. Victor Wembanyama's shooting numbers were not good. Rudy Gobert did that to Nikola Jokic too. And then having that tandem with Julius Randle. Like, that's going to be the key for those guys. Is Edwards, can he get healthy? And then guys like Rudy Gobert and Randle, how much can you shut down their best player? Because it's going to be a coalition, I think, between those two guys to slow down what he can do offensively, and then make guys like De'Aaron Fox, Castle, make them be the carrying the torch for the offense with that Spurs team. Those are 2 games tonight. Like I said, later today, you do got a couple more. Or those were the games of last night. Excuse me. Later tonight, you have a couple more. Cavaliers, Pistons, as I mentioned, they're playing already 14-11. Pistons leading it about midway through the first quarter. And then Lakers, Thunder, Prime Video, 8:30 p.m. If you're hoping for a good series, you're hoping a lot out of LeBron James. He's got quite the battle to fight. And then you have Austin Reeves back. But if anyone watched game 1 between the Lakers and Thunder, you're going to need a much better performance out of Austin Reeves if you're going to have a shot taking down what has been not just SGA, but this Thunder team and an incredibly efficient, tough team to beat out. So with that being said, we'll throw it to break. We'll talk a little bit Husker football and some Husker softball, baseball. We'll add those in the mix as well. Currently in the Husker softball tournament, I'll give you an update there since I have it on the TV in here. You'd have number 7 Wisconsin playing number 2 Oregon. It's currently 8-8 at the top of the 6th inning. And we'll kind of go through the bracket and tell you what all these matchups could possibly be. Nebraska women's softball got a win already. We'll talk about that and talk about who their next possible matchups could be. Don't go anywhere. 93.7 The Ticket. All that coming up next. Ticket Weeknights with Harrison Arens.
A single mom of 3 was facing eviction, struggling with a recent separation, health issues, and no job or childcare. She feared losing everything, especially her children. But then she found support in her community made possible by Nebraska Children and Families Foundation. She was connected to support. By the end, her bills were paid, she loved her new job, and hope replaced fear. This is what the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation does. They lift up young people and families so they can find stability, build brighter futures, and power a stronger workforce. Ready to help make more stories like this come true? Support the Nebraska Children and Families Foundation on Gift to Lincoln Day.
Attention Lincoln riders, mark your calendars and get your gear ready. This is the weekend you've been waiting for. The official Honda Factory Demo Truck is rolling into Nebraska for a massive 2-day event. This Friday and Saturday, May 8th and 9th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. daily, the Big Red Honda Semi will be at Rod's Power Sports in Southwest Lincoln, unloading a fleet of 22 brand new 2026 motorcycles. Experience the legendary Gold Wing, the Adventure Ready Transalp, or the high-performance CBR Sport Bikes. They're all here and ready for you to ride. Bring your gear and your motorcycle endorsement because these test rides are free. Plus, just for completing a ride, Honda is handing out $250 in Demo Bucks coupons. You can use those savings toward any new, unregistered Honda two-wheeled motorcycle anytime within the next 30 days. At Rod's, it's a party for the whole family. We'll have free refreshments all weekend long with fresh brats served on Saturday. Saturday is also Family Day. Bring the kids out for fun games and activities while you check out the new lineup. Rod's Power Sports, 1030 South Taylor Road, your only Level 5 Honda powerhouse in Nebraska. For your safety, read the owner's manual and always wear a helmet and eye protection. Honda motorcycles are for riders 16 years and older.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Now's the time to lock in the best deal of the year on a new John Deere sprayer during Landmark Implement's Sprayer Early Order Program. Leverage the industry's latest technology with See and Spray. Target weeds with precision and cut herbicide use. Utilize Exact Apply to save in chemical usage and prevent over-application. Don't forget, secure early order savings and get the sprayer that maximizes every pass. Visit your Landmark location for full details and experience the Landmark difference.
Spring sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Are you craving the ultimate game day experience? Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill has your front row seat. Dive into delicious wings, juicy burgers, and frosty drinks, all served up with TVs covering every inch of the walls so you'll never miss a play. Stop in for their incredible daily specials like $3 tall boys on Mondays, 5 wings for less than $6 on Wednesdays, and $20 beer buckets on Fridays. Red Zone Sports Bar and Grill right by the Lincoln Airport at 3111 Northwest 12th Street.
If you're seeking a career with a growing company, Gaina Trucking and Excavating is hiring and looking for additions to their team. Gaina Trucking has a strong team culture, competitive pay, 401ks, and benefits like health, dental, and vision. Drivers are guaranteed 40 hours per week, even in the winter months, and are home every night. Start your career today at Gaina Trucking and Excavating. Apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Nebco is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete in Lincoln and Palmyra. Ready Mixed offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they cover the cost of CDL training. Apply with Ready Mixed Concrete today to be eligible for a $2,500 hiring bonus. From Nebco's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today with Ready Mixed Concrete. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Graham Tire presents life's greatest adventures.
Okay, take the worm, put it on the hook. Now bring your pole back and throw it forward. And just let the fish come to you.
I got a bite! It's a big one, Dad!
Great road trips start with great service. Graham Tire, your tire store next door, with 5 convenient Lincoln locations, getting you to the places that matter most.
At Cedars, we're here to make sure that kids have the safety and stability that every child deserves, where they're protected and where they feel safe. You make this possible. Today, more than ever, we need your support to be here for kids who have nowhere else to call home. Now through May 28th, make a big impact through Give to Lincoln. Give to Cedars now at givetolincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see lots of sunshine. It'll be breezy and warmer. The afternoon high near 74. Tonight, increasing cloud cover, light winds, the low around 48. And tomorrow, we'll see partly sunny skies throughout the day. The light breeze, the high near 77. I'm meteorologist Kyle Fletcher for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, everyone. Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Big value and big flavor meet at Wings and Rings thanks to the all-new delicious Duo Combo. This is the one you've been waiting for. Get 1 half-sized appetizer and 2 entrees with a side for only $19.99. Bring a friend for the best deal in town on any day of the week, during game time, or whenever the heck you want. Their made-to-order wings and chicken sandwiches are waiting for you at their 68th and O and 40th and Old Cheney locations. Stop by Wings and Rings and celebrate every day with the best meal deal in town. Don't ignore changes in your skin. Get them checked. May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and early detection could save your life. If you've noticed a new spot, a changing mole, or anything that doesn't look quite right, now is the time to act, not later. As you head into summer, protect your skin and stay proactive about your health. At Advanced Medical Imaging, they're here to support your care with advanced technology and a team you can trust, because catching something early can make all the difference. Advanced Medical Imaging, your partner in proactive health.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back in at Tick Weeknights. Harrison Arens going solo for 2 more segments here. 402-464-5685. If you guys want to join in, always open to you. More than happy to read your guys' thoughts live on air. Facebook, YouTube, X, Allo, Channel 961. All great ways to put a face to the voice. Husker softball did get a win earlier today. And a little bit of a tighter match than maybe people anticipated. A 4-2 win. A Husker secure win over Michigan. That puts them now, I believe, in a match versus Indiana. Yes, Indiana got a win already. So Nebraska will be facing Indiana in the semifinals game. Number 1 seeded Nebraska in the Big Ten tournament versus number 4 seeded Indiana. Indiana would have been the highest possible seed Nebraska could have possibly faced. And sure enough, with Indiana's win over Washington, that is the team they'll be playing. On the other side, who could possibly be playing in the semifinals? Wisconsin and Oregon are playing right now, and I believe Wisconsin's leading it 9-8 as they are at the bottom of the 6th inning. And then on the other side, Penn State actually got an upset over Northwestern. So Penn State will play later today at 7, well, about 30 minutes here. UCLA, if that is Central Time. Yes, Central Time, 7 p.m., Penn State versus UCLA. So you get 11 versus 3 seed matchup, and then the winner of that obviously waiting for the winner of Wisconsin-Oregon. Although right now, in favor of Wisconsin, look like they'd be able to pull off a huge upset. Oregon, by the way, the number 2 seed, so it would be another major upset in the Big Ten tournament. For Nebraska softball, you're sitting good. You got to win versus Michigan, maybe a little bit closer than you would have liked to, but because of the work they put on in the regular season, the resume looks phenomenal. It's not one of those resumes where they're relying on this Big Ten tournament to hopefully be able to host a super regional even. Big Ten baseball, a little bit different. For Husker baseball, obviously Iowa, that's going to be a big series coming up here. I'd imagine maybe you can drop one more game. And if that's the case, I think if Nebraska wants to host a regional, you probably got to win a big game in the Big Ten tournament, at least one big game, whether it's versus Oregon or UCLA. We're talking those types of opponents, even, USC, if you stack USC with another team. I think that's going to be the goal for Nebraska baseball is take care of the schedule as best you can. I think asking for undefeated might be a lot, especially with some of the changeups we see be kind of playing around with our pitching rotation. Maybe not the best time for it. Maybe it is the time for it before you get into true postseason. If they can handle a season, the rest of the season with maybe one loss and get a couple big wins in the Big Ten tournament, I think they're right back there hosting regionals. That's not totally out of the picture for Nebraska baseball. And I know that's kind of the conversation we've really glued on to because it'd just be a lot of fun to see Husker baseball get to host a regional. It's still potentially there for them. Like I said, I think you take care of the regular season, maybe lose one game, 2 at most. And then if you can make some noise in the Big Ten tournament, I think there's a good argument that Nebraska could still be hosting a regional. That's really all I wanted to highlight real quickly was some softball that they're in the mix. Tomorrow they will play at 5 p.m. versus Indiana for all the softball fans and just Husker athletic fans in general. And then for baseball, kicking things off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you get the 3-game series versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. And they definitely need to take care of that series. 3, a sweep would be great. 2 out of 1 would be acceptable. Anything less than that, then we're out of regionals most likely. So unless you win the Big Ten tournament, I mean, that's probably what it's going to be. A lot on the line for both programs. You could argue more so for baseball because there's still that potential to host a regional. What I did want to talk about to wrap things up here on this segment, and then we'll kind of follow it into the last segment as well, is Husker football. Having this little bit heart-to-heart talk feels like on some of these weeknight shows, we officially hit the offseason to where we're going to talk Husker football and we're going to talk just possibilities and how are we feeling is kind of the sentiment of where this conversation is going. And like I said, you guys can tell me how you feel. Nebraska football, what are your expectations of Matt Rhule and company? It's a weirder conversation than maybe in years prior because those last 3 games from Penn State to Iowa to Utah, talk about 3 slaps to the face on, do you think you're good? Well, here's 3 games in a row to tell you something completely different, which is tough. I will say this, you're never as bad as you think you are, and you're never as good as you think you are. I think we got to a point where, we're beating the Akron Zips like 68-0 and like, wow, look at this Nebraska football team. They're awesome. And then we get tested a little bit and we take some losses. And then I felt like this team, the fans, maybe thought they were worse than what they were. And they kind of played underneath their expectations. Like that Minnesota game, you can't tell me Minnesota was that much better. I just think they wanted it more. And for whatever reason, Nebraska, I don't know if they just thought they weren't good, that they weren't as good as they were, or what happened mentally. I mean, scheme-wise, it's not like they were doing anything complicated, but it just meant mentality-wise, Minnesota kicked our butt by 10 laps. I mean, they totally dominated us in the mental game. For Nebraska football, though, when I'm looking at expectations, I want to keep them high. I don't want to get to a point where I'm like, boy, look at the schedule. Let's all just not care about Husker football. Now, if you want to not care, maybe that's a healthy thing. Again, I'm not going to tell you guys how to feel about it, but when I look at the schedule, I see some tough games. There are definitely tough ones in there. You're telling me that we have to play Indiana and Oregon back to back, and we play Indiana at home and Oregon on the road. And then you also draw Ohio State towards the end of the year, and you pair Ohio State, Iowa back to back. People right there will tell you that's 4 losses. And then you have some tougher opponents. Say what you will about Washington. I think that's a tough win for Nebraska, a team that hasn't had that much consistency. Then you have teams like Illinois, who kind of been a little bit of a back and forth battle. Michigan State's got a new head coach. But then you can convince yourself of all of these, but you can also just go back to, if you're in Nebraska, if you're Matt Rule, if you believe that the guys that you got in the building are the right fits and you've been developing this talent for 4+ years, it's time to get rolling. I know Michigan State has got a new head coach, but we beat them last year. And I'm assuming we win the knockout. Ohio, Bowling Green, North Dakota, there's a possibility we don't. If we don't, I mean, that'll just be a whole narrative in itself that we'll have to really break that down as to what happened when the season actually starts. But assuming they just clean house there, when you look at a team like Michigan State, you can talk them up into something bigger than they are. But Nebraska should go win that game, even if it's on the road. Maryland, same thing. Indiana, Oregon, sure. Maybe those are games that you think are not in the possibility of Nebraska football. Washington, it's kind of a statement. Can you go win that game? I mean, it's a team to where those middle tier Big Ten teams, those are the teams Nebraska football needs to start taking down. They want to get respect. No one's asking, go beat Oregon, Ohio State every year. They're asking to beat Washington, to beat Michigan State, to beat Maryland, beat Illinois. Can you pull that one off? Can you beat Rutgers? And then can you get the rivalry matchup versus Iowa? If you do those things, the season's not that bad. I mean, a loss to Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State, you would love to win one of those. It'd be great if they could pull that off. But there's a lot of games in this schedule where if Nebraska football would play the same way, that the way the amount of money and support's poured into it, there's no reason that the schedule is getting built up into this monster that we all got to sell our hopes on Nebraska football. Now, if the results look bad, like I said, we'll have the conversation. We'll take a couple from the text line here. Drumstick says, seems like Husker fan base needs a shot of adrenaline, almost like we were just going through the motions. And then we got Jim. He chimes in. He says, complete reseat. Process of reassigning all. Okay, we'll talk about that too, Jim. We can talk about that in that third and final segment. But to Drumstick's point, seems like Husker football fan base needs a short shot of adrenaline. It certainly died in the water, and I can understand Husker football fans for feeling a little bit more apathetic. But at the same time, what I'm noticing is they're still there. If might be a little bit more negative of a conversation, but they're still there. Listen, we've had Jason Peter on the show, not this show, but early break. There's 2 groups. There's one group saying we need to get out of the 90s mindset. Where was this before? Well, before he was on Scott Frost's staff, he was helping out. I don't know if he's allowed to hop on air and tell you the ins and outs of the program or what he sees. As much as you'd like that, listen, there's certain contract negotiations that you have to abide by. And I think that's fair to point out for everyone asking where he was before. Now, if you disagreed with everything he said, that is totally fine. But what I got out of that was you had a group of people saying we need less of the 90s talk, but then you had a group of people saying this is exactly what we needed. So for the people that were saying this is exactly what we needed, obviously they're still engaged, but even the people that were saying we need less of this conversation, still engaged. Maybe you're engaged in a little bit of a way that's a little more aggressive and you're wanting more and you're not willing to give any praise right now. That's okay. You don't have to. But there's enough murmur that it's May 7th, and I'm already seeing Husker football conversations occasionally get heated, spice up a little bit. And if anyone's on X and has an algorithm like mine where you're seeing lots of Husker football conversations, it's out there. Good, bad, neutral. There's still a buzz around Husker football. It's not going to have the same kind of pop it did like when Scott Frost first got here, and you look at the spring game attendance numbers. You look at what we had this year for the spring game, and basketball had a part of that, very low. So it's certainly taken a dip, but I think the expectations have maybe taken a dip, and I don't know if the actual fan engagement has. I think when we get to the regular season, fans will be trying to find ways to get into those games if there's signs of hope. Now, if we lose to North Dakota, again, that's another conversation. We'll get there, and I hope we don't have to ever get there. But if you win those, previous games, and you beat Michigan State, you beat Maryland, okay, 5-0, Indiana's on the way. Can you finally go make a statement? Do something that we've been begging for forever. And I'm not asking you to beat Indiana. Can you look competent? Can you look like a team that gets better as the season goes on? And, that'd be the next part I'd say about it. We'll get some more of the text line, and we'll maybe talk about the seats as well in Memorial Stadium if we have time for it. So don't go anywhere. I got to throw it to break here. Take a Weeknights, Harrison Arens. We'll keep talking Husker football in just a little bit.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Bauer Underground has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know that the best workers in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and a pedigree of success. They're offering top-notch benefits, a matching 401k, and a $600 per year clothing allowance. Bauer Underground, a family-friendly company with plenty of room for advancement.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Spring sports are here, and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Sometimes good people make mistakes. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, call Liberty Law Group. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group will defend you in court and protect your freedom to get you the best possible outcome and the justice you deserve. Trust your freedom to Liberty Law Group, the best criminal attorneys in Nebraska and Iowa. Call them today at 877-404-5238. That's 877-404-5238. Or check them out online at libertylawgroup.com.
A membership with John Henry's will fast-track you to front-of-the-line service, seasonal tune-ups, and far fewer unexpected moments. That means no breakdowns, no waiting on a call, and no nonsense. It's consistent care that prevents small issues from turning into big bills. Join the Comfort Club and get VIP treatment 365 days a year with 24-hour priority response, member-only discounts, and peace of mind on your home's most expensive systems. Call John Henry's.
John Henry's Plumbing. Heating
and electrical.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Right now in Lincoln, neighbors are facing hunger and homelessness, and they need our help. Your donation to Matt Talbot Kitchen and Outreach for Give to Lincoln Day helps provide nutritious meals, safe shelter, and life-changing support. Your gift goes even further thanks to matching funds from the Lincoln Community Foundation. Working together, we can make our community stronger by ensuring that everyone has access to nutritious food and a safe place to sleep at night. Give to Matt Talbot today or anytime through May 28th at givetolincoln.com.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program by building a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Love local wine, craft beer, cider, or spirits, or looking for a great non-alcoholic option? Then raise a glass at SIP Nebraska's 13th Anniversary Spring Festival, May 8th and 9th at Mahoney State Park. There's truly something for everyone with unlimited tastings, live music, great food, and unique experiences like skydiving demos, buzzed bingo, goat yoga, and fun lawn games. Plus, explore local artisans and take your favorites home. Make a weekend of it. Lodging is available right at the park. Grab your ticket package now at sipnebraska.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC. And wow, what a great spring it has been here. We've had record sales happening at Koppel. And to show our appreciation, Koppel is giving out employee pricing on select new models. Yes, you heard that right. Employee pricing is happening right now at Koppel on select new models. So please stop on in the store and see the team or check us out online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Some rebates to dealer.
Back to the Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back in. Wrapping things up here, Ticket Weeknights. Harrison Arens, as always. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Get any last-second comments if you want to. 402-464-5685. And if you found me, congrats. Facebook, YouTube, X, Owl Channel 961. Correct way to put a face to the voice. Wrapping things up here, again, kind of getting into maybe the emotional side of Husker football. And, like, where is everyone feeling? And I wanted to point it out there. Two sides to kind of lean into the season. I'm going to choose to just try to lean in optimistically because I think it's a lot more fun that way. Maybe it's more disappointing, but I look at this schedule and I see opportunities. I see a chance to go 5-0 with an opportunity to have Indiana at home, the defending champs. You get to play the defending champs in your home stadium with the potential to be undefeated while you do it. If you're not able to get up and get fired up for that game, I don't know what happened to the University of Nebraska football. I'm expecting that if the mind is right, I'm not asking to win. I'm asking to have a good competitive game where you go out there and you put something on tape. And then maybe as the season goes on, we get better. And like, man, if we played that game again, would we be able to beat Indiana? Like, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for development. I'm not looking for this team to be great playing Ohio. I'm looking for this team to be great when they get to the end of the regular season and they're playing Iowa. I want to see track development of a team that gets consistently better as the season goes on. I don't want to see a team that falls flat in November or October, and it feels like we got to reassess everything. At that point, I want that team to be starting to hit its stride. I'm understanding who they are as a football program, and it doesn't mean you win every game. It means you get better every game. To the text line here. Drumstick says, do you think we get a summer quarterback battle, or is Colandrea the clear-cut favorite? Listen, in NIL, I would like to say it's a quarterback battle. I honestly don't know if it is. It's going to be Colandrea's job to lose, is the way I'd probably look at it. Now, listen, if Latif's in there and he just looks significantly better, you would hope Matt Rule and staff has the wherewithal to pull back on Colandrea and be like, you know what, we're going Latif. He's just looked better. And I think they would. I don't know if there's going to be a significant difference between that quarterback room. And if there was, it'd have to be, like I said, it'd have to be significant. I think if they think TJ Latif is just a little bit better, they might go with Colandrea still. NIL money, when you're putting that much into a guy, I think subconsciously it's going to have an effect on who you think should start. Even if it's unintentional, he's going to be the guy that's demanding the most money. I think we'll see Cole Andrew. You don't bring in a senior like that unless that's kind of the vision you have for him. I don't think they sold him to be a backup. That's my 2 cents on it. If it was up to me, it's always the quarterback battle, but in the era of NIL, I think we kind of see it. It's just not always the case. We have guys that transfer to these schools really late. Now they're a starting quarterback, not because they won a quarterback battle, but because they were highly touted and took the money, and now they're the starting quarterback. I'm not here to fix college football. That's the reality of what it is. We got Rosebud from Elmwood talking about the fans and saying we don't have trust in the current coach. Oh, that one's actually from this morning. Excuse me. We are here. We just have no trust in our leadership. So I guess that'd probably be Matt Rule, and maybe it goes up to the AD as well. That's what we need is leadership. I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there. I think the biggest thing that Matt Rule's probably done to adjust how he leads the program, at least to the media, like what he does inside the walls of the facilities, I don't know. There's some guys that can give you tidbits of what he does. I don't have that information, so I'm not going to speak on it. What I do know is his approach to the media has been different. He's been a lot more quiet. Great, and I think it's a great approach. Like, listen, when you're out there and you say guys like Jeff Sims is an NFL talent, actually, he might have been right. I think Jeff Sims did get invited to a rookie minicamp, so maybe. But at that point in time, the way he said it, you were thinking Jeff Sims is going to be a great Husker starting quarterback, and he's going to lead us to a lot of success because he's NFL caliber. Well, clearly, we know how that season worked out. We started with Sims, we ended up with Heinrich Harburg, and a bumpy year, but we actually did better, all things considering, than you might have anticipated, considering how bad it started. But when you say certain things to the media, I mean, people aren't going to believe you. If you tell the media that we got a lot of talent, this is the year I feel like it's going to take off, and then it doesn't take off, that's just more questions you have to answer that maybe didn't ever need to be there. And if you're Matt Rule, and if I'm coaching the University of Nebraska football, and this is my opinion, so take it with a grain of salt, I am just going to treat the media very lightly because this city wears Husker football like a robe. If it has a bad day, the entire city feels it. If Husker football has a great day, the entire city feels it. So when you speak about the football program here in Lincoln, this city responds, not just the Husker football fans. It's the city. That's how embedded Husker football and Husker athletics is embedded to the city of Lincoln. And I don't know how many places are there like that. And I think it might be something you have to learn. And maybe Matt Rule learned from that or is just choosing to do this by his own instinct. But I think it's okay pumping the brakes on the hype around Husker football. Let the guys work and prove it. There's nothing worse than being, a prodigy and then letting everybody down. I mean, you can really take it to bare levels. How many of those prodigy math kids did you see where there's, 60-minute, there's this prodigy who's a super genius and he knows how to do all this. Those prodigy kids actually end up failing in significant ways down the road because the pressure and expectations just got so insane to where at one point, even if they were able to reach that goal, it's a new level when you have all this extra layer of expectation, conversation around you, and everyone's dubbing you a genius and the prodigy in the future already. So you could use the now. I mean, football is the same way. As great as it is to be excited about the football program, and I think, it's okay. You should be. It's also for the coach. You don't have to put that pressure there. And I'm a Bears fan. I remember Saban when he was talking to Nagy because Ben Johnson wasn't the coach yet. And just talk, or Eberflus, and just talking about the biggest thing you can do is take as much pressure as you can off the rookie quarterback because you're putting a franchise that needs saving on his back. It rarely works out. And if Nick Saban says that, I think that's probably a good guy to listen to. So that's my 2 cents on it. Like I said, we're in that point with Husker football in the offseason where a lot of these conversations are going to be tidbits of recruiting news, who we may get, the $600 million stadium renovation, the seating, how that's going to shape out. And it's also that time of year where how we just feeling about Husker football when you have success with baseball, softball, basketball, volleyball, one sport away from being serious contenders in the Directors Cup. And I mean that in all seriousness. So you got pressure without the conversations needing to even be had there. And when I look at that schedule, like I see, you can look at that schedule and say, this is doomsday for Nebraska football, or you can look at that schedule, and if I'm Matt Rule, I'm saying there's a chance to be 5-0 and take on the defending champs at home versus Indiana. So I know Kirk Cignetti's not going to be scared of playing in that game, so my team better not be as well. Appreciate everybody listening. That's going to wrap it up for me. Up next, I'm going to play a replay. I'll have back on at 8 o'clock with Nick Wyman. And if you want to get hyped for Husker Athletics, we got Peak Performance. Cade Ziola was on with Charlie Wistrom. Cade Ziola, heavyweight Husker wrestler. Talk about guys that just wear the N better than some others. Cade Ziola represents Nebraska in a great way. So if you want to get fired up just about Husker Athletics and some of our athletes, that one's coming up your way next. 93.7 The Ticket.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complex